once again back at Fan Expo Canada, an event that has become part of the lifeblood of GEEK HARD. And we're excited for another fun-filled 4 days of comic creators, cosplayers, celebrities, fans. It's all coming your way here from me and the big guy, well, the tiny guy. Here with Robbie Amell, here to talk about Code 8, Tales of Lincoln City, Volume 1. You know, it went from a short film to a crowd-funded feature film to a sequel, and now we're branching off into the world of comic books. What was the impetus to decide, hey, let's go into the world of comics?
Well, we get asked all the time, what are you going to do next? What else do you want to do with it? We're going to make a third movie at some point. We want to keep it going, but those are expensive and very time-consuming. And we were kind of like, okay, Jeff and Chris need to write the movie. We need to prep it, produce it, shoot it, post-production. What can we do in the meantime? And we talked about some animated stuff. We talked about some short film. Like, we did the short film. We talked about some video game stuff. And we were like, you know, it really feels like the comic book graphic novel world is something that would make a lot of sense. We also know that the fan base crossover is pretty cool, and just something that you can hold in your hand. I think, you know, something cool, some great illustrations. We started meeting with people actually quite a while ago, and we really wanted to find a great team to put something together, and I think our creatives are pretty awesome.
Alrighty, so we're here at Fan Expo. We're at the Huxley booth for the new graphic novel Huxley. Of course, the creator of Huxley we have here, written and illustrated by Ben Mauro. Been a concept artist and a designer on big properties. You worked on the Hobbit trilogy, you worked on Elysium, you worked on Chappie, you worked Call of Duty, Halo, like some pretty big name stuff. But all those times you were taking someone else's vision and bringing them to life.
That's right.
Whereas in this is your vision, this is your story. What was it that, you know, inspired you, that pushed you to be like, no, I want to create my own world?
I think that was always kind of the goal at the start. So like every job I took was trying to slowly learn how to do this myself. So like at the start in The Hobbit, I hopefully could have a small impact on a big thing. Elysium was I was still pretty young, like maybe I could hopefully have a medium impact on a slightly bigger project, or like a smaller project compared to The Hobbit. And then slowly work my way up to like maybe a big impact on a big project, until I felt like I think I can kind of do this for myself. I understand how to take something from a couple words on a page and over 4 years turn that into a movie we're sitting in a theater watching. So for me, some people I know just start and just make their own thing, but for me, I feel like I need to go through it a few times to feel comfortable or confident enough in myself to do it. And so a lot of it was more of just understanding how it's done from the best people in the world before I felt comfortable doing it on my own. But it was always like one of my bigger goals, like bucket list, like I want to make my own thing and put it out there. And since I had already adapted other people's stuff, once we started making trailers and things, it was like, oh, I know how to do this. I know how to adapt some Spider-Man panel and make a photoreal one for Spider-Man 2, but now I can do it for myself, and I know exactly how to do that.
So we're here once again in Artist Alley at Fan Expo Canada. I'm here with Sanya Anwar. Now, I know you're someone who's very focused on telling a story, not just through the line drawings and everything, but also through color. So when you're putting together, say for a cover, what's the steps you go through to put together a color palette for said cover?
Well, like you said, I'm super passionate about color. So really for me, usually an idea springs to my mind, like the idea of a very fresh green or a beautiful sunset tone, and I spin out my covers starting with the color palette always. That kind of makes it easier, being the person who has to eventually color the artwork. I think very often the works of mine that I don't enjoy as much are the ones where I start with the concept before I start with the color. So really that's like where all of my inspiration comes from, is that relationship. And you know, it'll be from anywhere. We're walking down the street, seeing something interesting, I'll snap a picture and I'll think to myself, I'm going to make something out of that.